The morning sun rose over New Busan Colony like it had for the past 15 years. The golden light touched the green fields, where corn and wheat grew in perfect rows. Administrator Kim Min-jun stood on his office balcony, drinking coffee and watching the farmers start their daily work. He smiled as he saw children running to school between the neat houses that mixed old Korean style with new technology. New Busan was home to 50,000 people who had left Earth to find a simpler life. They grew food for other human colonies, scattered across the galaxy. Kim Min-jun had once been a diplomat on Earth, dealing with wars and politics. Now he helped people grow vegetables. It was a much better life. Dr. Lee So-young checked her watch as she walked to the medical center. Her husband Park Jae-won was already in the fields, testing new seeds that could grow faster and feed more people. Their daughter Lee Hana was at school, learning about Earth history and dreaming of traveling to other worlds someday. The colony had no weapons. They had no soldiers. They had no reason to fight anyone. The galaxy was big enough for everyone to live in peace. Other human worlds had defense fleets, but New Busan only had farming equipment and medical supplies. The colonists had built their town to look like old Korea, with curved roofs and beautiful gardens. But they used modern technology to grow crops and stay healthy. The combination of old and new made New Busan special. Visitors from other colonies often said it was the most beautiful place in human space. That morning seemed perfect and normal. Farmers worked in the fields. Children played in the parks. Doctors helped sick people get better. Teachers shared knowledge with eager students. It was exactly the kind of peaceful life the colonists had dreamed of when they left Earth. But far above the blue sky, something was watching. The Zephyrian war fleet had been studying human colonies for months. They were raiders who captured people to sell as slaves. They had conquered many peaceful worlds and knew how to spot easy targets. New Busan looked perfect for their needs. Warlord Vextar commanded the Zephyrian ships from his flagship. He was tall and covered in gray scales, with yellow eyes that showed no mercy. His people had built their empire by attacking those who could not fight back. They looked for farming worlds, mining stations, and other places without strong defenses. "These humans have no weapons," reported his captain. 50,000 people with no way to fight. They will bring good prices in the slave markets. Vextar nodded. The Zephyrians had heard that humans were spreading across the galaxy, but they seemed weak. They spent time growing food and building schools instead of making weapons. This would be an easy raid. The attack began without warning. Kim Min-jun was reviewing crop reports when the first explosions shook his building. Through his window, he saw bright flashes in the sky as Zephyrian ships fired energy weapons at the communication towers. The attackers wanted to make sure no messages could be sent asking for help. Panic spread through the colony as more explosions rocked the peaceful settlement. People ran from their homes and workplaces, not understanding what was happening. Many had never seen violence before. They had no training for war. Dr. Lee So-young was treating a patient with a broken arm when the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, but she could hear screaming from outside. She looked through the medical center windows and saw strange ships landing in the fields. Tall, gray creatures with weapons were coming out of the ships. The Zephyrian soldiers moved quickly through the colony. They carried energy weapons that could stun humans without killing them. Dead slaves were worth nothing. They needed the colonists alive and healthy for the markets. Park Jae-won was in the eastern fields when the attack started. He saw the ships landing and tried to run back to town to find his wife and daughter. But Zephyrian soldiers caught him before he could reach the houses. They hit him with a stun weapon, and he fell unconscious. At the school, teachers tried to protect their students. Lee Hana and her classmates hid in a basement classroom while explosions shook the building above. The children were scared and crying. They did not understand why anyone would want to hurt them. Kim Min-jun knew he had to send a message to Earth. The communication towers were destroyed, but there was an emergency transmitter in his office basement. He ran down the stairs as Zephyrian soldiers broke into the building. His fingers shook as he activated the emergency system. The transmitter could send one message before its power died. He spoke quickly into the microphone. "This is New Busan Colony. We are under attack by unknown aliens. They are taking our people. Please help us. Please remember us." The message shot into space, just as the soldiers found him. Kim Min-jun felt the stun weapon hit him, and everything went dark. The attack lasted only 3 hours. The Zephyrians were experts at capturing people quickly. They rounded up families, workers, children, and elderly people. Anyone who could work was valuable. Dr. Lee So-young managed to stay hidden in the medical center basement with 12 wounded colonists. She watched through security cameras as the aliens loaded her neighbors onto transport ships. She saw people she had known for years being dragged away in chains. The colony that had been peaceful and beautiful that morning was now burning and empty. Only a few hundred managed to hide in cellars, caves, and broken buildings. As night fell, Dr. Lee So-young bandaged wounds and tried to comfort the survivors hiding with her. She did not know if her husband and daughter were alive. She did not know if anyone would ever come to help them. The Zephyrians prepared to leave with their prizes. They had no idea that their simple raid on a farming colony would change the galaxy forever. They thought humans were weak. They thought no one would miss a few farmers on a distant world. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. 3 days after the attack on New Busan, Kim Min-jun's desperate message reached Earth. The signal was weak and broken, but the words were clear enough. Admiral Choi Sung-min was having his morning coffee at Colonial Defense Headquarters when the communication officer brought him the recording. "Sir, you need to hear this immediately." Admiral Choi listened to the message 3 times. His face grew darker with each replay. When the recording ended, he stood up slowly and walked to the window overlooking Earth's blue oceans. For a moment, he was very quiet. "How many people lived on New Busan?" he asked. 50,000 civilians, sir. Farmers, doctors, teachers, families with children." Admiral Choi turned around. His eyes had changed. The other officers in the room had never seen their commander look like this. He seemed calm, but there was something dangerous underneath. "Contact Defense Minister Yoon Ji-hae immediately. Tell her I need to speak with President Park Soo-jin within the hour. And activate Protocol Omega." The communication officer looked surprised. Protocol Omega had never been used before. It was Earth's most secret military plan, created for the worst possible situations. "Sir, are you sure? Protocol Omega is for when someone attacks our people," Admiral Choi said quietly. 50,000 of our people have been taken. That is exactly what this protocol was made for. Within 1 hour, every important leader on Earth was in an emergency meeting. President Park Soo-jin sat at the head of a long table surrounded by military commanders, government ministers, and intelligence officers. The room was filled with tension. Defense Minister Yoon Ji-hae stood up and spoke first. "New Busan Colony has been attacked by unknown aliens calling themselves Zephyrians. 47,000 humans have been taken prisoner. The colony has been destroyed." President Park looked around the table. "Options? We can file a diplomatic protest with the Galactic Council," suggested the foreign minister. "We can demand the return of our people through proper channels." "That could take years," said Admiral Choi. "These aliens took our people to sell them as slaves. Every day we wait, more of our citizens suffer." "What do you recommend, Admiral?" asked the president. Admiral Choi pressed a button, and the room's screens showed a star map. Red dots marked human colonies across the galaxy. One dot was flashing. "New Busan. We show the galaxy who we really are," he said. The other officials looked confused, but President Park nodded slowly. Earth had a secret that no other species in the galaxy knew. While humans appeared to be peaceful farmers and merchants, they had never stopped being warriors. Earth's violent history had taught them to build the most advanced military in the galaxy. They just kept it hidden. "How long to assemble the fleet?" asked President Park. "Every available warship can be ready in 1 week," replied Admiral Choi. "But I recommend we take everything." Everything? Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. We send a message that will echo across the galaxy for 1,000 years. Attack one human, and you face all of humanity. The meeting lasted 4 hours. When it ended, Earth began to change. General Kim Tae-hyung received the call at his retirement home in the mountains. He was 70 years old and had not worn a uniform in 5 years. But when they told him about New Busan, he packed his bags immediately. "I thought my fighting days were over," he told his wife. "I was wrong." Across Earth, shipyards that built cargo vessels and passenger ships suddenly switched to military production. Factories that made farming equipment began building weapons. The planet's entire industrial power focused on one goal: reaching New Busan. Captain Han Soo-jin was commanding a border patrol ship when she received new orders. Her destroyer, Seoul's Wrath, was to join the largest fleet in human history. She had been fighting small pirates and smugglers. Now, she would face an entire alien empire. The fleet that assembled in Earth orbit was enormous. 200 warships of every size and type. Medical ships to treat rescued prisoners. Transport ships to bring people home. Support vessels carrying everything an army would need. Other species in the galaxy had seen human merchant ships and exploration vessels. They thought humans were weak because they seemed to avoid fights. No one had ever seen what humans could build when they were angry. Colonel Young Hae-jin commanded the rescue forces. She had spent 20 years training for missions like this, getting human prisoners away from enemies without getting them killed. Her teams were experts at fighting in places where civilians might be hurt. "How many people are we bringing home?" she asked Admiral Choi during a planning meeting. "All of them," he replied. "Every single person taken from New Busan comes home alive." As the fleet prepared to leave Earth, news of the mission spread to other human colonies. The reaction surprised even Earth's leaders. Colonies that had been rivals began sending their own ships to help. Mining stations offered supplies. Even civilian merchants volunteered their vessels. The message was clear: attack any human, anywhere, and you face every human, everywhere. Dr. Sarah Kim, a xenobiologist studying alien cultures, joined the fleet as an expert on Zephyrian society. She had never seen humans prepare for war before. The efficiency and organization impressed her. "In all my studies of other species," she told her colleagues, "I have never seen anything like this. Most civilizations abandon remote colonies as acceptable losses. But humans treat an attack on 50,000 farmers as an attack on their entire species." The fleet was ready in 6 days instead of 7. Admiral Choi stood on the bridge of his flagship, Terra's Shield, and looked at the assembled force. He opened communications to all ships. "We are not going to war," he announced. "We are going to bring our people home. The galaxy is about to learn something about humanity that we have hidden for too long. We are strongest when we protect each other." The massive fleet began moving toward the outer edges of the solar system. Their destination was New Busan, but their mission was bigger than one colony. They were going to show the universe that humans would never abandon their own. Behind them, Earth's factories continued working day and night. More ships were being built. More weapons were being made. If the first fleet was not enough, Earth was ready to send everything it had. The galaxy had seen human explorers, traders, and farmers. Now it was about to meet human warriors. And these warriors fought for something no alien empire had ever understood: the idea that every human life mattered, no matter how far from home. Task Force Vengeance moved through space like a storm of metal and energy. 200 human warships traveled together toward the distant Zephyrian territory where New Busan's people were being held. General Kim Tae-hyung commanded the fleet from the bridge of Terra's Shield, alongside Admiral Choi. The journey would take 2 weeks at maximum speed. But General Kim did not plan to travel in a straight line to New Busan. He had studied the Zephyrian Empire and knew they had many outposts along the way. Each one might have information about where the colonists were being taken. "We will visit every Zephyrian base between here and New Busan," he told his officers. "We will ask them politely for information. If they refuse to help, we will ask less politely." Captain Han Soo-jin led the advance ships. Her destroyer, Seoul's Wrath, was fast and heavily armed. She had fought pirates before, but Zephyrians would be different. They were an organized military force that had conquered many worlds. The first Zephyrian outpost was a small base that watched for enemy ships entering their territory. When the human fleet appeared on their sensors, the Zephyrian commander could not believe what he was seeing. 200 ships? That cannot be right. Humans do not have that many warships. His communications officer looked nervous. "Sir, they are sending us a message." The human message was simple and direct. Captain Han's voice came through clearly. "This is Captain Han Soo-jin of the Earth Colonial Defense Force. You are in possession of information about human prisoners taken from New Busan Colony. Surrender your base and provide all data about their location. You have 10 minutes to decide." Like C. The Zephyrian commander laughed. His base had strong shields and powerful weapons. These humans thought they could frighten him with empty threats. "Tell them we do not negotiate with weak species. If they want a fight, we will give them one." The human response came exactly 10 minutes later. The Seoul's Wrath fired a single shot from its main weapon. The blast tore through the Zephyrian shields like paper and destroyed their communications array. "That was a warning shot," Captain Han announced. "The next one will destroy your base completely. Surrender now." The Zephyrian commander had never seen a weapon that powerful. His shields were supposed to stop any attack, but the human ship had broken them with one shot. "We surrender. We surrender. Do not fire again." The Zephyrians provided their data files about Zephyrian ship movements. The information showed that New Busan's prisoners had been taken deeper into Zephyrian space, toward their main slave markets. General Kim studied the new data carefully. "They are moving our people to 3 different locations. Some will be sold to mining companies. Others will go to factory worlds. The youngest and strongest will be sent to gladiator schools." The thought of children being trained to fight for entertainment made every human officer angry. But General Kim kept his voice calm. "We will reach them all. No human will be left behind." Meanwhile, news of the human attack spread through Zephyrian space. Warlord Vex Tar received reports while overseeing the processing of New Busan prisoners on a prison ship. One outpost destroyed by human ships? Impossible. Humans do not have military technology that advanced. But more reports kept coming. The human fleet was moving from base to base, demanding information and destroying any Zephyrian force that resisted. They fought with precision and overwhelming power. "How many ships?" Vextar asked. "Our scouts report 200 warships, sir. They appear to be heading directly toward the core systems." Vextar had conquered dozens of species in his long career. When their colonies were attacked, most sent small rescue fleets that could be easily destroyed. Some tried to negotiate. A few abandoned their people entirely. No species had ever responded with their entire military force for the sake of one farming colony. "Alert all bases between here and the border," he ordered. "These humans must be stopped before they reach the inner systems." But stopping the human fleet was not easy. At each Zephyrian outpost, the same scene repeated. Human ships would arrive and make their demand for information. If the Zephyrians surrendered, they were allowed to leave in escape pods while the humans took their data. If they fought, they were destroyed quickly and efficiently. Colonel Young-hae Jin led the boarding teams that searched captured bases for any human prisoners. Her soldiers moved through Zephyrian facilities like ghosts, finding hidden areas and secret files. "These aliens have been raiding for decades," she reported to General Kim. "They have taken prisoners from dozens of species, but most of those species never came looking for their people." The human advance was relentless. Captain Han's ship group destroyed 3 more bases in 2 days. Each victory provided more information about Zephyrian operations and the location of human prisoners. Back on the damaged New Busan, Dr. Lee So-young continued hiding with the other survivors. She had managed to repair some communication equipment using parts from the medical center. Late at night, she listened to radio signals from space. On the 3rd night of listening, she heard something that made her heart race. It was a human military communication signal. Very faint, but getting stronger. "Task Force Vengeance to all units. Maintain attack formation. Target coordinates confirmed." Dr. Lee woke the other survivors hiding in the basement. "They are coming," she whispered with tears in her eyes. "Earth is coming for us." The survivors could hardly believe it. They had been certain that no one would risk a war to save a small farming colony. But the radio signals proved that Earth had not forgotten them. As the human fleet moved deeper into Zephyrian space, panic began spreading among the aliens. Their military had been designed to intimidate weaker species, not fight an enemy with superior technology and unlimited determination. General Kim studied reports from his advance ships. The Zephyrians were gathering their forces to defend their core systems. Soon there would be a real battle. Not just raids on isolated outposts. "They will make their stand at New Busan," he told Admiral Choi. "They know we are coming for our people, so they will use the prisoners as shields." "Can we break through their defenses without getting the colonists killed?" asked the Admiral. General Kim smiled for the first time since leaving Earth. "We are about to show the galaxy what happens when someone threatens human families. The Zephyrians think they understand warfare, but they have never fought an enemy that values life more than victory." The human fleet continued its relentless advance. Behind them lay a trail of destroyed Zephyrian bases and gathered intelligence. Ahead lay New Busan, their captured people, and the largest Zephyrian fleet ever assembled. The galaxy was about to witness the true nature of human military power, not the ability to destroy, but the ability to protect what they loved most. The human fleet arrived at New Busan to find a massive Zephyrian force waiting for them. Warlord Vex Tar had assembled over 300 warships around the planet. He was confident that superior numbers would defeat the approaching humans. "Let them come," he told his officers. "We will crush their fleet and take their ships as prizes. Then, we will have even more humans to sell." General Kim studied the enemy formation from the bridge of Terra's shield. The Zephyrians had spread their ships in a wide circle around New Busan. They were using the planet and its prisoners as a shield, believing humans would not risk harming their own people. "They do not understand us at all," he said to Admiral Choi. "They think we will hesitate because our people are down there. They do not realize that protecting our people is exactly why we fight hardest." General Kim divided his fleet into 3 groups. Admiral Choi would lead the main space battle against the Zephyrian ships. Colonel Young would command the rescue teams that would land on the planet to free the prisoners. Captain Han would coordinate between space and ground forces to make sure rescued colonists stayed safe. The battle began at dawn, New Busan time. Admiral Choi's ships moved in perfect formation toward the Zephyrian fleet. The enemy opened fire first, sending waves of energy blasts toward the approaching humans. But human military technology was far beyond what the Zephyrians expected. Earth's ships had shields that could absorb massive damage and weapons that could punch through any armor. The humans had learned to fight wars against enemies as advanced as themselves. "All ships, execute Pattern 7, Admiral Choi commanded. "Protect the planet. Our people are down there. The human fleet split into small groups that attacked from multiple directions. This confused the Zephyrian commanders who were used to simple battle lines. They could not coordinate their defense against enemies that moved like a school of fish. Captain Han's destroyer, Sol's Wrath, led a group of fast ships that punched through the Zephyrian lines. Her mission was to clear a path for the rescue ships while avoiding damage to the planet below. Target their command ships first, she ordered her weapons officer. Cut off their communications, and they cannot work together. The space battle was not close. Human ships used precise teamwork while Zephyrian vessels fought as individuals. When human weapons hit their targets, Zephyrian ships exploded or lost power. When Zephyrian weapons hit human ships, the damage was absorbed by advanced shields and quickly repaired. On the planet below, Colonel Jung's rescue teams began landing in small, fast ships. They avoided the main landing areas where Zephyrian soldiers were waiting. Instead, they used advanced sensors to find exactly where human prisoners were being held. Dr. Lee So-young heard the sounds of battle above and knew the moment she had prayed for had arrived. She gathered the survivors hiding with her and prepared to help however she could. "Stay close to me," she told the frightened people. "Our soldiers are here. We are going home." The first rescue team landed near the ruins of the medical center where Dr. Lee was hiding. Colonel Jung herself led this team, wearing advanced armor and carrying weapons designed to stun rather than kill. The humans wanted to save their people, not destroy everything around them. "Dr. Lee? This is Colonel Jung of Earth Defense Forces. Are you safe?" Dr. Lee emerged from the basement with tears streaming down her face. Behind her came 12 other survivors, including elderly people and children who had been hiding for weeks. "Thank you," she whispered. "We knew you would come. We never stopped believing." Colonel Jung's teams moved quickly through the ruined colony, finding hidden survivors and gathering information about where the main groups of prisoners were being held. The Zephyrians had built temporary camps to hold the colonists before shipping them to slave markets. The largest camp held over 20,000 people. It was heavily guarded and surrounded by energy barriers. The Zephyrian commander there sent a message to the approaching rescue teams. "Come closer, and we will kill all the prisoners. Retreat now, or watch your people die." Colonel Jung's response was swift and precise. Her teams had studied the camp layout and knew exactly where every guard was positioned. Using advanced technology that could see through walls, they targeted every Zephyrian soldier simultaneously. "All teams, execute rescue pattern Alpha. Non-lethal force only. Protect the civilians." The assault on the prison camp lasted exactly 17 minutes. Human soldiers appeared from all directions at once, using stun weapons and sleeping gas to disable the guards without harming any prisoners. The energy barriers were shut down by computer specialists who had hacked the Zephyrian systems. Park Jae-won was among the prisoners freed from the main camp. He had been working in forced labor, building equipment for his captors. When the human soldiers appeared, he could hardly believe his eyes. "Is my family safe? My wife and daughter?" "Dr. Lee So-young is secure," a soldier told him. "We are still looking for your daughter. Do not worry. We will find every human on this planet." Meanwhile, the space battle continued above. Admiral Choi's ships had destroyed over half the Zephyrian fleet, while losing only 3 human vessels. The enemy was beginning to panic as their careful battle plans fell apart. Warlord Vexi Tar realized his forces were being systematically destroyed. In desperation, he ordered his remaining ships to attack the planet directly. "If we cannot win, we will kill their precious colonists. Fire on the prison camps." This was exactly what General Kim had expected. Human ships immediately moved between the Zephyrian weapons and the planet's surface. Admiral Choi's flagship took several direct hits while protecting the camps below. "All rescue teams, accelerate operations," General Kim commanded. "We will hold them off. But get our people out of there quickly." The final phase of the battle saw incredible coordination between space and ground forces. As Colonel Jung's teams loaded rescued prisoners onto transport ships, Captain Han's destroyers provided cover fire against any Zephyrian ship that tried to interfere. Lee Hana was found in the ruins of her school along with 30 other children who had been hiding in underground tunnels. When the rescue soldiers arrived, she was helping take care of younger kids who were scared and hungry. "Are you here to take us home?" she asked. "Yes," replied the team leader. The last Zephyrian ships retreated as the final rescue ships left New Busan's surface. Warlord Vextar's mighty fleet had been destroyed. Over 47,000 human prisoners had been rescued. 8T. Not a single colonist had been left behind. As the human fleet prepared to depart, General Kim received one final message from the planet. Dr. Lee So-young had been reunited with her husband and daughter. Through her tears, she managed to speak. "Thank you for remembering us. Thank you for not abandoning us. We always knew Earth would come." General Kim looked at Admiral Choi and smiled. "No human gets left behind. That is who we are. That is who we will always be." The Battle of New Busan was over, but its effects would change the galaxy forever. 3 months after the liberation of New Busan, the galaxy was a very different place. News of the human military response had spread to every species and every world. The story was always the same. When aliens attacked one small farming colony, all of humanity came to fight. New Busan itself was being rebuilt with resources from across human space. Ships arrived daily, bringing construction materials, medical supplies, and volunteers to help with the work. The colony that had been destroyed was rising again, stronger and more beautiful than before. Dr. Lee So-young stood in the new medical center, much larger than the old one. She was no longer just a colony doctor. Earth had appointed her as the memorial coordinator, responsible for making sure the attack on New Busan would never be forgotten. "We lost our homes and our peace," she said to visiting officials from Earth. "But we learned something important. We learned that no human is alone in this galaxy. When one of us is threatened, all of us respond." Her husband Park Jae-won had returned to farming, but now he also helped train other colonies in emergency procedures. He wanted to make sure that if aliens attacked again, people would know how to hide and survive until help arrived. Their daughter, Lee Hana, had changed the most. She had applied to join the Colonial Defense Academy on Earth. The girl who once dreamed of peaceful exploration now wanted to protect other families from what hers had experienced. "I want to make sure this never happens to anyone else," she told her parents. "I want to be one of the people who comes when others need help." Administrator Kim Min-jun worked with Earth officials to establish New Busan as a regional defense hub. The peaceful farming colony now hosted a permanent military base with ships and soldiers ready to help any human settlement in the area. But the most surprising change involved the Zephyrians themselves. Instead of executing or imprisoning their former enemies, humans had offered them a choice. They could face trial for war crimes, or they could help rebuild what they had destroyed. Many Zephyrians, including former warlord Vextar, chose to work on New Busan. They could not understand why humans offered mercy to those who had attacked them. In Zephyrian culture, defeated enemies were killed or enslaved. Vextar, now known simply as Worker 1, spent his days helping to rebuild the houses he had ordered destroyed. He worked alongside the very humans he had once tried to capture. The experience was changing him in ways he did not expect. "Why do you not hate us?" he asked Dr. Lee one day as they planted trees in the new park. "We destroyed your home. We took your people. Your species should want revenge." Dr. Lee continued planting without looking up. "Hate would not bring back what we lost, but working together can build something better than what we had before." The answer puzzled Vextar. In his long life of conquest, he had never encountered a species that chose healing over vengeance. It made him think about all the worlds his people had destroyed and all the lives they had ruined. Other Zephyrians working on New Busan were having similar experiences. They saw human families playing with their children in the same fields where battles had been fought. They watched former enemies sharing meals and helping each other with daily tasks. Slowly, Zephyrian society began to change from within. Warriors who had returned from New Busan brought strange ideas back to their home worlds. They spoke of species that fought to protect rather than conquer. They told stories of enemies who offered forgiveness instead of punishment. The galactic community watched these developments with amazement. The Galactic Council had seen many wars and conquests, but never anything like humanity's response to the New Busan attack. Ambassador Kang Yujin addressed the council in a speech that would be remembered for centuries. She stood before representatives from hundreds of species and spoke calmly but firmly. "My people are farmers, teachers, doctors, and engineers. We build homes and grow food and care for our families. We explore the galaxy, seeking knowledge and friendship, not conquest or glory." The alien ambassadors listened carefully. Many species had thought humans were weak because they seemed to avoid military conflicts. "But we are also guardians," Ambassador Kang continued. "Attack any human anywhere in this galaxy, and you will face all humans everywhere. This is not a threat. It is a promise. It is who we are." The council chambers were completely silent. Every species now understood that humanity's peaceful nature did not mean weakness. It meant they saved their strength for protecting what mattered most. Captain Han Soo-jin, now promoted to admiral, established the New Busan Defense Fleet. Her ships patrolled the region, serving as both protection and reminder of what happened to those who attacked human colonies. But the fleet's mission was not just military. Admiral Han's ships also carried medical supplies to alien worlds suffering from disease. They helped rescue crews save people from natural disasters. They showed the galaxy that human military power could be used to help, not just to fight. "We are strongest when we protect others," Admiral Han told her officers. "That includes protecting those who once were our enemies, if they choose to become our friends." The transformation was remarkable. Species that had avoided humans now sought them out as allies. Pirates and raiders began avoiding human space entirely, knowing that any attack would bring overwhelming response. New Busan's children played in parks where both human and Zephyrian children learned together. Former enemies worked side by side in the fields, growing food that would feed both species. It was exactly the kind of cooperation that humans had always hoped to find among the stars. Administrator Kim Min-jun often walked through the rebuilt colony in the evenings, watching the mixture of humans and aliens working together. The town still had its traditional Korean architecture, but now it also included buildings designed by other species who had come to help. "We lost our innocence," he said to visiting reporters from Earth. "We learned that the galaxy can be dangerous and that peaceful people must sometimes fight to protect their peace. But we also learned that our enemies can become our friends if we are brave enough to offer them that chance." As the first anniversary of the attack approached, Dr. Lee prepared a memorial ceremony in the new town square. It would honor those who had suffered and those who had died. But it would also celebrate something more important: the proof that even in a dangerous galaxy, compassion was stronger than fear. The memorial bore a simple inscription in several languages. "Here fell those who believed in peace. Here rose those who chose forgiveness. Here stands proof that mercy is not weakness, but the greatest strength of all." Vextar stood with the crowd during the ceremony, no longer a warlord but simply one of many beings trying to build a better future. He watched human children place flowers on the memorial and thought about all the worlds his people had destroyed over the centuries. "We were wrong about everything," he whispered to himself. "Wrong about strength, wrong about power, wrong about what it means to win." The ceremony ended with a promise that echoed across the galaxy. New Busan would remain a symbol of humanity's core truth. They were strongest not when conquering others, but when protecting their own, and offering redemption to those who sought it. The galaxy had learned to fear human military might. But more importantly, it had learned to respect human compassion. And in the years that followed, That respect would transform not just how species fought, but how they lived together among the stars.